Nope. Nope. Gonna get through it. Welcome to another Darachat. I was gonna call it Get Daracast, but I've seen so many two people call the things cast at the end. It's Darachat. Look, my guest is gonna be running a little late because of course, they have their life to live. But you know what? It doesn't matter because we're gonna have a fun time regardless. I'll look like an idiot over here, and we'll have fun doing it. Boom. I think I got it. Now I just gotta do a little divvy down. Oh, oh no, I know how to spell everyone. Why? Why do I do this to myself? Why? Why do I do this to myself? All right. And gotta do YouTube. I don't have people on the back end, so I can't do it like those people. Yes, there we are. I am now in control. Yeah, it's green. It's green. Because the thing with my mic is as that I listen through it. You can listen to it for instant feedback, and it's all right. I don't know if it's too not if it's loud or not loud enough. So if I'm not loud enough, please say something like you're not loud enough, or something to that manner. But yeah, like I said, he's gonna be running a little late, and that's okay because you know, uh, it, do you? hmm, Sorry, the link is up above. Studio link. I did have a studio link. Oh, did I forget to give him a studio link? Oh dear goodness. Oh, I thought I gave him one. Oh, that's not good. That's not good. I'm here. Oh, I see him. I see him. Sorry, Patty. I'm so sorry. I think I forgot to give you a link. I am. I am so sorry. Give me 1 to 2 minutes, tops. Oh, don't give me that. Here we go. Give me 1 to 2 minutes. I'm coming, Patty. I'm coming. No, not that one. Not. I don't want to share. I don't want to share. I thought I had sent it to you. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. And done. All right. There you go. It is in your DM, good sir. I gotta and done. Okay. All right. It is. Oops. It is in your. So look in your DM and get on in. Get on in. Oh, oh, oh. Just stretch a little. Yeah, I hate when that happens. I thought I sent him the link. Oh, I feel like I'm a bad person already. Dang it. Oh, I'm okay. I'm good. I'm okay. I'm okay. We're okay. We're all right. We're okay. Everything's fine. The house is not burning. It's not on fire yet. Uh, but he shared the link, so it'll be on in a few minutes or whatever. So, but yeah, Patty will be on soon, and we'll get on to it. But how has your day, how has your guys' day been? Mine's been all right. It's been a bit mundane and repetitious because of work and stuff. Um, and then again, my other thing where I try to not only do this, but I also do rock tumble. I also do like I'm a rock hound, I guess is what they call it, and I've been doing tumbling rocks for a bit, and um, it has been a bit of a challenge in just trying to get some shiny rocks because, dear Lord, it is a difficulty just to go through a whole. Oh, here he is. Hold on. It's just a difficulty as it is to go through and try to get a bunch of just the same type of rock to get shiny, and you end up in their dull and whatever, and it's like I just want a bunch of shiny rocks. I wanted a bunch of labradorite, colorful, all this stuff, and it just I can't get it. I can't have it. I don't know why.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, sweet. Let me see if I can figure out my camera here real quick. I'm used to being on the other side of this. I guess it's not that much.
Well, yeah, there is the person who's in charge and the person who's not in charge. So I guess that does make sense there. No, but yeah, it won't. The thing of it is, it won't show you unless you have like a some sort of your camera's on or whatever. And when I tried going on the round table, it wouldn't show my camera. So next time I have to do it, I'm gonna have to go through OBS because somehow, some way, I can't show up in someone else's stream without. Oh, there we go. Let's get on.
It doesn't want to switch my scene on OBS. That's dinky.
Oh,
Dinky.
the monsters. Oh, see, and this
Yeah,
is this is the thing too, is they kind of need to get this in order. Oh, there he is. Look at him. Look at him. He's all ready to
there we
go.
go.
See, you're a little
I
bright
gotta turn off some lights. Yeah, no, I've got this aura about me that that just really shines. I gotta turn this light off above me. Hold on one second.
Okay. Hey, you're holy. It's very holy.
There's that. There's that.
Oh, I can't see.
Now it's all dark. And then I got this light right here.
How many lights?
That goes even brighter than that.
Yeah.
I literally just had enough time to like run in through the door, wash my face, clean the drywall and sawdust out of my hair. And,
you're all right. I usually can hold down the fort for a time. It's like you could have been like 10 minutes and be like, oh, well, nice to look pretty now, can't you?
Yeah. Well, and then I drew myself that little PNG tuber thing. I've been working on a bunch of animations and emotes for that guy, thinking, yeah, that might be the better option because my wife's pregnant. She's got a baby on the way. So my kids will probably be like barging in through the door, and I don't want them to end up on the internet earlier than they can like really understand.
Yeah.
Even though I think we've made that mistake on accident in the past, and I just try not to make a big thing of it. But yeah, so I drew that thing, and I use the OBS virtual camera, but it doesn't switch the scene. It just wants to keep the one scene, so I'm stuck to it.
Yeah,
and I don't know how to fix it.
Yeah, neither do I, and it's one of the smaller kind of things that kind of have to work on for studios. But I mean, for right now, for me, because I don't have a bunch of layouts. I don't have like this whole like here's the dono things, because you can do that already in Studio, it seems, where you can just add like the was it the chat layout or whatever. But I don't do that for reasons because I multi-stream, so there are words that can be said that can get you in trouble.
Right.
So it's like you bundle of sticks, like oh get off. I don't care if you say it in the Rumble chat, but I can't have it show up on screen because I streamed to 2 different places. So
yeah,
I'm one of those people, if you want to call it that. But it's just one of those things. So, but anyway, how are you, sir? I'm
doing pretty good.
You look fat. You look fashionably late, but you look fashionable.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. I almost made it right on time too, but I went and took a look at myself. So I was working in a barn, and there's like half shop, half barn. So I was like hanging out in the shop area where it's all finished, and then I went to the barn where like the goats and like the big old sheepdog is at, and I was like, yeah, that's really cool. Well, it's super dusty in there. So I get home, I look at myself, I sat down, I turned on my camera, I was like, oh God, no, got back up, ran back to the bathroom, was like scrub. And then I realized that it was really sunny here today, and my face is all red, and I don't know if it's because of like the iron wool level of abrasion that I used to scrub my face clean. But I was like, yeah, dude, I've probably got snowburned because the light hits off the snow and just like a sunburn. It's crazy.
Oh yeah. That's awful, especially when you're driving something and then you see that snow and it hits you like, I can't see what.
Yeah.
Where's everything? Yeah. Where's everything at?
It's like sitting underneath the sun with one of those mirrors. I feel like I get a better tan than Floridians do sometimes.
Well, when it was where I'm at, it got warm yesterday, but it got warm a couple weeks ago, and it was in February. It was towards the end of February, got like 60, 70, and I was like, you know what? I might as well just get the shorts on and go out and get a suntan.
Yeah.
I was like, yes, yes. Because I live I guess you could say I live in the Midwest from where my state's at, but because I'm Eastern, so I guess it's Midwest. But yeah, it's sort of been as a child, right? As a child, you're like, oh, I enjoy the snow, la da da, and all this stuff. But as an adult, you're like, do I want to hurt my back today or not? I just gotta know. Do I want to
I don't
slide
know.
on the ice or do I want to walk on ice?
So I grew up in the desert. I don't. I guess we don't really have like an agenda. We're just kind of like hanging and chatting, right?
Oh yeah. Well,
Okay.
and and prefacing this is like I know a lot of people like, oh, what are the topics we're going to discuss? What are those things like? Well, we'll talk a little bit about yourself and we'll kind of go from there because I'm more free flowing, and my thing is like I've seen a lot of content creators. They always talk about the news of the day, which is fine, I guess, but it's like you have one doing it, and then you have 1,000 others behind him doing
Yeah.
the same thing, and then it's like, why can't we just sit down and have a conversation about anything? I don't know if you've seen the other streams with other people, but it's just like easygoing. It's all that stuff. So prefacing is like, I'm not we get talk. I'm not against talking something about the news like the downtime stuff from today. It's just it always seems to be the case for almost other streamers. Just they just sit
Yeah.
down and talk about the news of the day. It's like, what about anything else? Why don't you talk about like Jello pudding pops or something like that? I don't know. It does. Mine's chocolate. How do you yours?
Yeah. Oh, well, normally I try not to ask because I really like trying to give answers like off the cuff, uh, unless somebody like specifically wants to talk about something. So,
Yeah.
the only reason why I asked was because it's like, oh, dude, I'm totally ready to talk about like growing up in the desert and then like seeing snow for the first time as a grown man and being like, whoa, that's awesome. Love it. And then like getting deployed to Kuwait and being put back in the desert. It's like, this is not why I left home.
Curses!
Why?
Curses!
I'm destined to be in the desert and I hate it.
So what does that like? Is that like Arizona, Texas? Where did you originally come from?
So I always like to make the joke that I was born on native soil in California because my
Oh,
parents were Marines.
oh wow.
So I was born on the base down there, and then my mom was from Las Vegas, and
Oh,
she was born and raised there. So that's where I was
oh,
raised. I spent a couple of my summers in Blackfoot, Idaho, which is like central, and then
oh,
after
yeah.
that, I went to Indianapolis, and then to Montana, and then down to El Paso because that's where I got stationed active duty, and then immediately went across the world, and that was fun for a bit, and then I hung my hat on that. It was way over that,
Yeah.
and
So what?
now here we are. We're back in the inland Northwest
Nice. What branch? Which branch of military?
Army.
Army? Oh, okay. I've worked with people who were either Marine or Army. So I haven't really, I haven't really worked with too many other than that. I may have had past family members like, Pearl Harbor days sort of thing, but nothing
Yeah,
of. So, but yeah, that's pretty interesting because it's, the reason of why you go into that can be a bunch of things, right? Like you serving country, whatever the pay can get you, whatever that means nowadays, right? It's so interesting to learn of the vastness of why someone joins up with um that's a big jug.
oh yeah, a huge chunk. Hydration is key to success.
Yeah, is that what they meant? After like every 5 minutes you have to go like, guys, gotta pause, I gotta go, I'll be right back.
Yep.
At the end of the day, it's so clear you don't even flush.
I'm a lean, mean, hydrated patty machine.
Oh yeah, no, I know. I'm trying to too, because in April I have to go in to get my blood redone for cholesterol stuff. So, and it's kind of bad on my family, my mom's side. So, I was like at the beginning of when I had taken it last year in February, I was like at 345, which is no bueno. And then towards September of last year, I was at 311. So eating habits and trying to figure that out has been difficult. Like right now, I'm trying to just like quit eating out until my blood test comes, or do my blood test, which is like April. So it's sort of those things like I wish you could have like a at a home kit test where you just test yourself every day, like where am I at today? Instead, I don't think they have that, or I haven't looked it up. I'm like, come on, because you have to go. Because if you have to go to like a blood bank, whatever, they charge like I don't know, 100 or so bucks just to have it done. I'm like, really? It, you could have a what is it, the diabetes test? You get a little poke on that, and you have it at home. I can't have a cholesterol test. Come on.
Well, how much do they take when they do the cholesterol test?
It technically would be kind of covered underneath my insurance, I would think.
Oh,
If
I meant
not,
like how much blood are they doing? A finger prick? Or are they like
no,
there's like
it's
some secret vampires in the back room? They're like, oh man, we got him again, and he's paying us.
yes. No, it's probably like a vial or two, depending on. So the last time I did it was just a vial. So I think they only need a vial to in order to see like what the amount is, right? Because I'm not that deep in it. It's just I know that there are certain foods I have to change out, stuff like fried stuff and all that. So I've done all right. I kind of failed today because I ate out, but I have until like I think mid-April, and I'm trying to do more of the intermittent fasting thing. You
Yeah.
probably have heard of that. So it's like there's a small space of window to eat, and then every time out of that is just whatever. So I know boring stuff, right? Like health stuff, but I don't want to end up taking cholesterol medication for the rest of my life. So I'm
Oh
gonna
no.
push it. Yeah, I'm gonna push it as hard as I can to not do that because they really love pushing you taking medication on you for whatever reason it is. It's like you have a cough. Well, let me take this drug that'll give you, butt problems or something like that. I don't
Yeah,
know.
exactly. Oh man, one of my friends, she was I was watching one of her videos, Brigantia Blackbird. She's on Rumble,
Yeah.
and that's one of the things that she talks about all the time. Is we a lot of people end up going to the doctor. They're not trying to heal you. They're just trying to put a band-aid on it instead of
Mm,
like intrinsically give you better health.
right.
And man, I can give you a laundry list of reasons why I think that is. Uh,
Yeah.
I don't know. I could. Okay, so I have two roads that I can go for. Was the
Yes.
fast food that you ate today? Do you want to talk about it or do you not want to talk about it? Because I could say, was it worth it? Would you if this was
No.
your last fast food meal?
No.
Did it make you?
No. It's for me. It's not. I mean, I didn't go like cry in a corner because I ate it. It's just like, wow, I feel more disappointed in myself than I have yesterday.
Hmm,
Um, but it's just like that things like, oh, what do you do from then? Is you just cry at yourself and you pick it up and try again tomorrow? Because the honest thing is that you eat out a lot. If you've never just stopped for a month, just stop eating out for a month. And I know people have families and all this stuff, but if you ever just stopped for a whole month, never ate out, you probably may or may not notice how much you eat out. And I think I ate out more times than not. And of course, while this is on a health issue, it can also be on a financial issue too, right? Like you're
yeah.
saving yourself money. But I mean, even eating at home can be expensive as well, just depending on. It's just again, I mean, my doctor's been nice. He's given me, he once this test comes up, he's like, you can go in for some, I think scan or whatever for your heart area, just make sure there's no like really bad stuff. Um, and so that will probably be the last straw before like you kind of have to take it. I'm like, when that retest came back of it going down, like it didn't go down a lot far, but it went down far. And I was like, look, it shows I'm doing something, right?
Yeah.
It's hard to change that lifestyle of eating out and eating wrong foods. It's like I've I take like a fiber one, sort of, no, not fiber one, I'm sorry, a fiber type capsule thing like Metamucil. I do more fibrous food stuff, just the horror thing because I want to give myself a better chance. And also I, go on walks every day. Um,
Nice.
but the thing of it is like even when you're a parent, right? It's kind of hard because you have kids, you want to do the quick thing, and you just want to not have to worry too much about it. But that's an issue in itself, right there, because you tend to set an example for your own children, and that's kind of rough. You know, it's kind of hard.
Yeah. I so my wife is what's diagnosed celiac, so she's like gluten-free, not by choice, because
Right. Yeah.
what is it, obligatory. She's an obligate gluten-free type, and we know that my oldest son is for sure as well, versus my younger son, we're not so sure. But at that point, it was just like, no, I'm not going to have this conversation as to why Oslo can eat daddy's food but Bjorn can't.
Yeah.
Because that, that'll create some rifts that they won't understand for a really long time. Nope, you're both gluten free, and so now they both they every time they go to like another one of the kids' birthday parties, they always like grab it, and if it's not like me or my wife, they look at like whoever the host of the party is. Is this gluten free? Is this gluten? And I'm like, oh man, they're because I live in an area where when you say gluten free, people are like, oh man, you're one of those, and I'm like, no, no. But they served their purpose, and I could talk more about that.
Nice.
Where was I getting with this? Oh, so I thought that like a lot of the processed foods were like out of the question because most of them are gluten.
Mm-hmm.
But with the advent of all of the people that are gluten free by choice, it actually made gluten-free products a lot cheaper, because for a long time gluten-free products were super duper expensive.
Yeah.
And now you can get certified gluten-free products like corn dogs and like French fries and stuff. Right. And I realized that I might do better if I ate out every once in a while, because we eat a lot of like corn dogs and chicken nuggets and French fries because they're always gluten free.
Yeah. And but no, I've eaten like of course it's still expensive. Like the bread I get is sort of expensive because it's like there's an app I have that's free, but you can pay a yearly membership for. It's called I better get this name right. It's called Yuka, Yuka, and you can scan barcodes of certain foods and it will tell you the ingredients and stuff. And it's surprising how many foods have an item in it that you should not be having.
Oh yeah,
at all. And I'm just like, wait a second. So this container of Oreos, I shouldn't be having that because there's because they do a coloration like red, yellow, and green, and sometimes some foods have a lot of red, and you're like, oh, okay, oh, it's not good. So, but it's important in life because I can only take care of my health. My parents are, sort of whatever, and that's their choice, whatever it is. But it's funny how when you stop and you take a look at either your surroundings or the things you eat or whatever, and you realize how much of the stuff is just made to taste good, but it's actually just to murder you, essentially.
Oh yeah.
That's when you're like, I think I need to rethink this thing called eating out. Well, not all of it, because there's some restaurants, right, they do though, but it's still rough. It's still crazy. It's actually still crazy.
Yeah, I always made the joke. It's like, no, the reason why we live so dang long now is because they're preserving you from the inside. You're being mummified from the inside. You eat that bag of Doritos, man. You would impress some of the Egyptian priests from a long time ago. Like, we tried forever to keep people looking like that. And here you are.
It'd be amazing if Doritos made their own coffin, because it'd just be like a Doritos bag.
Yeah, just pump you full of like nacho cheese, Dorito dust, and formaldehyde.
We are here with Tom. We are here with Tom today, and he smells so good. But we're here to lay him to rest.
It's cool. Just spray some Febreze. Oh man, I'll tell you, one of the things that of all the things that pissed me off about serving these great states, was soldiers' inability to just keep themselves clean and their over dependence on like Febreze to mask the musk and to mask the smell. And I'm really allergic to that stuff. I didn't know about it, but when me and my wife started going out, I didn't really care for Febreze and like scented candles and all that.
Right.
But my mom used to do a bunch of them, And I basically like detoxed over the course of like 4 years before I went active duty, because I was guard for a little bit and I went active duty. And yeah, man, I remember sharing a barracks room with some guys again, and I'm like, God, yeah, I hurt. I'm in constant pain. I don't understand my head. Seems like I'm pissed off all the time. That could be unrelated, but yeah, it was definitely like Febreze. And I had this one sergeant that came into the hooch one day while I was sleeping, after I specifically said, look, I don't care what, if you guys want to spray it, I don't care. I'm not going to tell you not to spray it. You know, I'm sharing this space with you. I'm just asking that you hold off on spraying it while I'm in like my tent area in our shared hooch, my little hooch in the big hooch of hooches. Please don't spray it. And I'll put like a little sign up that says I'm here, you know, please respect me. Because I mean, literally when I was deployed, I would sleep 4 hours a day, and then I would walk to like my supply support activity and just work. And yeah, I was working the night shift, which basically was from like 5 o'clock in the evening until 12 o'clock in the afternoon, more or less. And then I'd have like 30 minutes to walk to my hooch, sleep for 4 hours, 30 minutes to walk back to work. And yeah, dude, I remember just waking up and I like couldn't breathe. I was like, oh my God. And here's Sergeant Anselmi, like fucking akimbo assassin with 2 Febreze cans, walking up and down the fucking hooch, because it was his area that stank, and he got called out for it really bad by one of our platoon sergeants. And I'm like coughing, trying to like get my breath, as I like kick the fucking door down, and I'm like on the ground, like breathing in sand and dirt, because it was like way better than like 75% Spring Mountain Fresh Febreze flavor to oxygen. I'm like, oh yeah, right. Dang.
Do you remember the days of Axe? Oh my gosh, Axe was. You spray that on, I was like, whoa, okay.
Because that was like the method of bathing for people. They just sit there, douse themselves. It's like, what? You're practically dripping with it. Congrats. It's amazing. It's like a dry aerosol product, and you're dripping.
Did someone put cologne on? Because it smells like a curtain just fitting right in front of me. Smells like Mountainside Fresh. Hey, who has
Yeah. I haven't had a shower in 4 days, and I've never smelled fresher.
Well, it was always commercialized for like the men, because you know it attracts ladies and stuff. But once you lay that stuff on thick, it will throw away the ladies. That's for sure. It will just. I ain't talking to you. Goodness.
Dude, could you imagine those commercials these days where it's like the dude spraying it, and it was like all the babes like chasing him down the street? I remember those commercials. That would not fly today. Oh man. There's a reason why you don't see Axe commercials anymore.
Now it's a good flame. It's a good flamethrower, though.
Oh yeah, I've got bugs in my attic. We could take care of those real fast.
Let's see. Should I use my BB gun to shoot down the bat, or should I use my can of Axe to shoot down the bat?
I mean, you're probably just as well not even using the lighter. Just fumigate your attic space. The bats will be like, oh, dude, it's not even that like it smells bad or we can't breathe. It's just that Axe, really? What is this, 2002?
Right. And it's a funny thing, because you spray the bat and it's like it gets attacked by all these female bats. Like, what the hell? Come on.
Pheromones. How do they do it?
Oh man, but it's so interesting when you kind of go back to that stuff, like, and you just think about like the Axe and all that. Like there was one time I was talking about like it was on a solo chat or solo stream, and I was talking about like Tickle Me Elmo, right? Like Tickle Me Elmo was probably like one of the biggest things back in the 90s. And like I don't know how much they sold it for, but dang, Sesame Street was making bank with Elmo.
I mean, still, I don't even know where my kids got Sesame Street toys, but my one son like slaps Bert, right? Bert and Ernie. So it was Ernie. Slaps Ernie down on the couch one day and goes, Ernie's got cavities. We got to pull his teeth. And then starts like stabbing him with a crochet hook. I'm like, oh, do you want to be a dentist when you grow up? No. I'm like, okay.
Goodness. They're like, all right, well, let's just put that down. Really put that down, please.
Have you been taking care of your teeth?
And he smiles, and there's one missing. Like, oh no! Please let it be. Please let it be a baby teeth. Please let it be a baby teeth.
Yeah, exactly. You're gonna go for the rest of your life looking like that kid. That poor soul. Yeah, I remember my little brother had one of those. There wasn't a Tickle Me Elmo. It was like a Rock Me By Elmo or something. And he
Yeah,
had
yeah,
like blue jeans and this
yeah,
fake jacket, and his arm would go up and like strum on the guitar.
yeah. Oh
And
yeah.
oh yeah, it was that was the thing. Go off in the middle of the night, and you're like, oh, what the fuck was that? My mom had Furbies, so like
Oh
Elmo would be
no.
talking from the one bedroom across the hall to the Furbies, and the Furbies were like, help me, when she hasn't fed us in years. We're covered in dust.
Oh my gosh. And I remember those because they would, if you put one next to each other, they would talk to each other. It's like, oh no, oh no.
Just, I mean, I could still hear their stupid little voice. Yum. And he'd be like, shut. Oh, why?
It'd be like Office Space. You just go out and you just go with the record.
Yeah, play some DMX.
DMX. Oh gosh.
There was a
Light and
video of a
fire.
guy that he hooked up like an electronic keyboard, and
Yeah.
so he had like 99 Furbies or something like that, each keyed to a different tone. And then he would play, he did his video where he's playing songs on his Furby keyboard. And some of these Furbies are like worse for wear. They're just like, there's no fur on them. They're just the eyeball and the beak. And,
Yeah, yeah.
And like the machine parts underneath. And you're like, that's the stuff of nightmares. I hate it.
No, please. I need to wake up, please.
Don't feed it after midnight. Don't give it water.
Oh
Wait,
man,
that's not right.
I remember seeing that first one, and it was like, well, this is a weird movie. And then it's like, oh wow, no wonder I'll have nightmares.
Oh, the Gremlins? Yeah.
Yeah. Now
Why?
the second one wasn't so bad because it was more hysterical than anything else. But that first one, man, that could be turned to my. The same with what was it? Critters, I think it was. Critters, you know, those roly pulley balls.
I don't remember Critters that well, but the scene that's it, the third act of Gremlins, where you can hear the Christmas song, "Do you hear what I hear?" And then like the whole neighborhood is burning down.
Yeah.
Oh man, I got a story like that. So check this out. I think it was the first winter I was living in this house that we bought, and I love my neighbors except for the one on the corner, and he lives in this red cinder block house. The guy that lives there now is an absolute gem, and I love that guy. But the guy that was there, oh my gosh, I didn't really know who he was. But I'm driving around. I'm getting off of work. It's like 11 o'clock at night. Been a long day, and I'm talking to my brother on the phone, and I can't remember exactly what we're talking about, other than like I'm seeing smoke just kind of billow from the east side of the road to the west side of the road. And at first my brain's like, that's not right, because all of the bonfires are held on the west side of the road and all the smoke billows that way. So what the heck is going on over there? Knowing I'm pretty familiar with my neighborhood, you know, there's that red brick home, an empty lot, and then like a truck shop that's been decommissioned for years. So I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna take a loop around. And he's just like, yeah, whatever, dude. You can't just say goodbye. And I'm like, what the fuck do you mean you can't say goodbye? And he goes, every time for like the past 3 or 4 months, it's been like, kitty fell down the stairs, or this kid hit that kid. You never just say bye. And I'm like, okay, just give me a second, hear me out. And then I looped back around, didn't see any fire, but I could still see the smoke billowing until I get right back to where I live. And that's within eye shot. I could see the smoke like pouring out of the soffit of the house. And I'm like, oh my God, my neighbor's house is on fire. I'm like, whatever, guy. And I'm just like, no, I'm serious. My neighbor's house is on fire. And so I hang up with him. I start calling 911. I'm banging on the door. 911's not picking up. I'm like, why the fuck aren't they picking up? Hello, is anybody there? Look down at my phone, realize that it's still like Bluetooth to my truck. And that's the reason why I haven't heard them. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. My neighbor's house is on fire. And then she's like, I think we gathered that, sir. What address are you at? 316 blah, blah, blah drive. Sir, that's not an address. What the fuck do you mean it's not an address? It's on the side of the house.
Yeah.
And then they're like, what's the cross street? 3rd New Hampshire. Oh, we know that house. You know this house? So, sir, is there anyone inside? I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure I heard some wrestling. I'll check around the back. And I ran around the back, and there's like this 6'3" dude. He's wearing a plaid shirt. His hair is all singed. His long white hair is all singed on one side. He's barefoot trudging through the snow. I'm like, holy crap, dude. Hey, come on. Get him into the truck. Hey, is there anyone else inside? Got any pets inside? Got out. I'm like, okay, so he can still talk. Throw him in the truck. Okay, yeah. He said there's nobody in there. There's no pets in there. 3rd in New Hampshire. Yes, sir. We're sending somebody right now. The fire department will be there. I'm like, okay, sweet. And I'm like freaking out because this guy's like a veritable just tinder stick hanging out right down the street. He's got like a canoe that's been dried out. He's got wood pallets. You know, it's like one of those guys that I'm pretty sure was just collecting wood pallets, like build stuff with or burn it. I mean, clearly it's gonna burn now. But like all along the outside is just like dry firewood and wood pallets. That's like, man, if those catch on fire, sure as shit, it's gonna just start leaping down the street, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I can't have that. Anyway, I pull him inside and I'm like, hey buddy, what's your name? And he mutters something. I'm like, okay, what's the short version of that? Frankie. And I'm like, okay, Frankie, it's cool. Firefighter's gonna come down. And he looks up as he sees the sirens coming down the street, and he like whips his hand across me. They can't go in there. Frankie, your house is on fire. They need to go in there. Place is haunted. What? Huh? Okay. All right. Well, hey, you see that church right over there? Yeah. Would you feel better if we were hanging out in like the church parking lot? Yeah, that'd be great. I'm like, cool. Okay. Hop out of my truck. All right, Frankie, just stay right there and keep cool. No fire starting. You don't smoke, do you? No. Okay. Here's some water. And I go over to the cop. Like, this cop just looks like he's done. He's got like 8 bags under both eyes. He's looking at me. Hey, you're the guy that called this in? Yeah. Hey, you did a service to your community, guy. Way to go. Good looking out. Yeah. So anyway, the guy, who owns the house, he's in my truck. Awesome. Yeah. Why don't you keep an eye on him for us for a little while? Okay, but he says that the place is haunted. and he just kind of like. So you're gonna hold on to him for a little bit. What? And I had like a synapse just break right then, and I was like defeated. Walked back to my car, like calculating my options, like, okay, not all is lost. I'll figure this out. At least if he lunges at me from the other side of the car to carve my face off and start wearing it, what I mean? There's somebody there to watch.
Right.
But I kind of get like this hinky feeling, and I'm like, no, we're like not in the action. I'm going to pull around the street. So that way I'm like nestled safe in between like the paramedics car and like 2 fire rigs and the cop cars everywhere. Yeah. Then everyone will see what happens if it happens. And I'll have plausible deniability. So I'm trying to set the mood, and I'm like, hey, Frankie, you like any music? And he's like, yeah, El Shaddai. And I'm like, well, that sounds like just friendly Mexican mariachi enough that I can get down. It's not what it was. It was like a super religious track, and it's like this lady, and she's singing about like a lion eating a lamb, and it's like a metaphor for religion. And and the only thing I could think of is like, while I'm watching these firefighters carry all of this poor man's embering, smoldering furniture out onto the snowy front lawn and like spray it with the hose, and they're all excited because they haven't had work in like months. This is the first fire that's been set in a very long time. That's one of the things about firefighters. They're always in such a good mood because they don't ever do their job primarily. with all the electric codes these days, fires are an oddity. So they're all having fun, like spraying stuff down, and I'm just like, okay, I'd rather not die. Be really cool if you guys hurry up. Hey, Frankie, that song's over. Would you like to listen to anything else? No, I'd like to listen to it again. It's really centering me. You know what? It's making me feel safer that you feel safe. So let's just put it on repeat for you. And yeah. So as they're doing that, all I could think of was like the Gremlins scene after the fact. And Anyway, so a couple hours later, this fire chief comes over, and he's kind of old, grognardy, kind of tired of it. Rolls down the window. He looks at me. Hi guys, how's it going? So, who is the owner of the house? That'd be me, says the man with all the singed hair.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, so we were wondering. We didn't see anything that's, well, it looked like the fire was started in the middle of your living room. Oh yeah. Would you care to explain that for us? So I'm sitting in my living room, transcendently meditating with my friends, when this demon, fiery sword wielding demon named Bobby came in, started messing with us, and I picked a little jerk up and I threw him on some wood, and I said, "Eat crap, bastard!" And yeah, and I figured I didn't want him to get out, and this fire chief just. He leans past Frankie and looks at me. Can you corroborate this? I'm like, no, take. Wow. The fire chief goes, I could just imagine him in his own brain. He's like, you want to know what? This is clearly a volatile situation. What I'll do is I'll feed into this poor man's delusions. Hey, so you know that probably demons are like made of fire, so you shouldn't fight demons with fire because I think they're immune. And I was just like, no, that tracks. I play Dungeons and Dragons. That makes sense. Solid plan. Yep, right there in the player's handbook on page 69, paragraph 420. Don't set fire to demons. And then it gets a little bit darker from there. So now it's like the place is haunted. Now it's like whatever. I'm really believing in this, and I can't go home because the last thing I need is my my superstitious, crazy schizophrenic, possibly meth head neighbor recognizes my company truck just down the road. And I'm like trying to send my wife a text like, "Hey, I'm fine. I'm just up the street. Don't ask." And she's like freaking out. So yeah, they get the fire out, and then this younger cop comes by, and he looks like he barely graduated high school, much less law academy, just baby faced. So he opens up the car, or he taps on the window to have us open up the window. And he goes, "Hey, Mark, so we found your wallet and figured that was important." Motherfucker, you said your name was Frankie. And he shoots me this look like he never met me before in his life. I'm like, we've only been spending the past 3 hours here listening to lions eating lambs, guy. Come on, give me something to work with. And yeah, so he repeats the story to this kid, this cop kid. And the cop kid, somehow he ages 10 years. And he does the same. He gives me the same fucking look that the fire chief did. He leans past Marky Frank.
Yeah.
And looks at me. Can you corroborate this? And I'm like, well, first off, second time I'm hearing it and I still can't believe it. So no, I can't help corroborate that story. Okay, Frankie, go ahead and get out of the car. And I was like, thank you. Oh, it's over. I felt really bad for the guy. He ended up, not to dower the mood or anything, but he ended up dying in the house, just on the floor. And so now I got a new neighbor, and I don't have to worry about gremlins and Christmas music playing on my street while everything burns down anymore.
It's just like, Lord, is this what I'm having today? Is this what you're giving me?
Yeah, that was really interesting. I'll never forget Marky Frank.
Yeah.
And I'll
Frankie Mark.
I hold my prayer candles a little bit closer.
Just don't singe the beard.
Yeah, right. It's a problem I didn't have until recently.
That's like, I wish I had those kind of stories, because I've had like there have been stuff that happened. Well, where my family lives, it's sort of ghetto-ish, so it's near an airport, but it's ghetto-ish in the sense that, at night sometimes they have sometimes there's gun shootings, right? Sometimes there's, little fast racing and all this stuff. And so there's not really, you kind of go back over, and it's not really much that stands out to you, like of whatever, because it's not really, I don't live in that kind of place. But then again, I'm not the greatest storyteller ever. I'm like, and one day, and the fish died, and that's pretty much my storytelling. Wow, it's sort of like that scene from Holes, the movie Holes, and he's like, where he says, let me tell you about a story about a land where it never rained. The end. Just like, really?
Grandpa, I'm tired of digging these holes. That's too damn
bad. John Boyd played that character really good. That was hilarious.
What a role, dude.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, it's just oh gosh, yeah, it's sort of thing where it's like, I mean, I have stories, but they're sort of like there's sort of just like mundane stuff. And of course, the mundane there's always gonna be something in it that can be fascinating or wonderful or whatever. But it's sort of like, it depends on the perspective of who's hearing it, right? Like if you're telling it, you've already seen it, you're like, well, it was all right, I guess, I don't know. And somebody's like, are you serious? And you're just like, what? It happened, no one died or anything. It's like, no, are you serious?
You're just cool with this?
Yeah.
Did you need therapy?
It's like he set fire to your pants, and you're like, yeah, it's all right.
Well, see, there was a can of Axe spray involved. We were trying to see if we could do a cool fire stunt.
He was trying to do that thing like you do with like the sanitizer. He was trying to spell his name and stuff. You just a little spraying, and things didn't go as planned. So there we go.
Oh, dude, I now we're right back to Axe commercials.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I was almost one of those videos. I was like, you spray your hand and you light it on fire, and then it goes out, and you're like, you don't feel it.
I've seen it was with the sanitizer stuff though. I saw people who just cover it, hold the hand in the sanitizer stuff, and they just light it on fire. It's like, I can't feel it. It's like, yeah, but still, it's probably not a good idea to do that. It's like, but it's fun. It's like, no. Just someone who's an idiot says it's fun, and then realizes like, hey, why are my fingertips melting? It's like stuff like that. You're like, that's not a good idea.
Mistakes were made. Look, it was an accident.
It's like America's Funniest Home Videos, right? They always show like it's always funny. The majority of it would be like, a baseball bat to the groin. It's like, why? I just look at that and it's like, oh no, oh.
What was that kid that does the this one's for all my juggalettes out there. Whoop whoop. You know what I mean? He was on Tosh.0 one of those days.
Oh yeah.
And he's like giving the people's elbows to like printers and stuff. It's like just jacking himself up. It's like, man, I hope that guy gets like health insurance or something. Hoping that this thing really pays the bills for when he's like 30 and he's got like the back of an 80-year-old, like, oh, whoop, whoop.
Or his arm is in the wrong place. It's just like, why is your arm hanging like it's a crow or a scarecrow? It's like, well, let me regale you a story about my youth.
The ladder, the end.
It's just stuff like that you can find the humor in, because I tell you what, it's sad enough as it is when you have to live, continually live in a world where you're just kind of like, man, I live here. Goodness, I better get underground quick.
Yeah, being a moleman is sounding like a better option by the hour.
Guys, what year is it? It's been 20 years after you asked that question. Good, thanks. See you later.
It ain't been long enough. You're still here.
Where'd the neighborhood go? It moved while you were underground. Good, that find the time, little punks.
Anyone got an extra 5-gallon bucket? Shitter's full.
Oh my gosh, there was this story I read. I don't remember what it was totally about, but there was in the story, the woman had been collecting her own pee for years, right? Like just, there was just, I can't remember where he saw it, but there was just jugs and jugs of her own pee. I was like, I can't remember if it was a science experiment, whatever. It's like, why? What?
She was trying to see like how sterile it really was. Saying if it's sterile, it can hold up for years.
They're
called golden showers for a reason. I hit the jackpot. The government doesn't want you to know you could just keep your pee. They want it all for them.
It's not fluoridated. It doesn't have the gay stuff in it. Can't turn the frogs gay. Can't turn
urine. It's fluoride free.
Fluoride free.
I've never had a better sales pitch for drinking pee before.
Oh, there's gonna be many ideas coming out later. You're like, oh, hold on. I got it. One more.
Write that down.
All right, go. Oh my gosh, yeah. It's a funny thing for me in the sense of like coming to the content creation of it, right? Like, because I know you mostly do gaming, which is like no matter where you go, that's an oversaturation in its own right. So because almost anyone can play a game, but you just have to have that entertaining factor or look like a bearded man yourself and say, look, if you ask me questions, there will be some wisdom. Sometimes not. Just it's like that truth lie thing. You're gonna have to figure out which is the truth and which is the lie. Hint, it's all a lie. No.
Oh no.
But it's like because for me on my end of trying to do this stuff, right? It's like I'm not following that. I'm actually not following any formula. So don't come to me for advice on how to be a good content creator, because I'm surprised that you even have I looked at I usually don't pay attention to like how many followers I have or whatever, because it's not the main goal, although it kind of helps in kind of, gaining more credibility, more people to have more people on and all stuff. And on Rumble, I just looked and I have like 103 people. And I was like, wow, that's pretty awesome. I didn't like 9 to 10 months ago, I didn't even think I'd be there. And then of course, on YouTube where I also stream, I have like 30 people on there. So it's like, I have 133 altogether. And it's been pretty, for me, I'm not some professional like, you or whoever else, like Lumpy Potato or whatever else. I just don't have that kind of finesse. But for me, it's like I've taken sort of some part of like what I've seen other creators do, like the whole community thing. Like communities can be great, but there are times where communities can be like that viper you took home as a friend. It's like that, what is that poem, The Snake, the one that the president has always spoken on. It's sort of like, it's a double-edged sword. It doesn't matter what communities are a double-edged sword. And I don't really have a community, but I do enjoy doing this. So from your perspective as a content creator, because how long have you been doing this?
Coming up on a year. Yeah. I primarily just paint my miniatures and draw. Sometimes I write on stream. I only played the video game. I don't play a lot of video games. Last Sunday I played some because like right before I stopped playing a bunch of video games, I was playing that video game Warframe.
Right.
And they just released it on mobile, and it's cross-platform saves. So everything that I did like 8 years ago is now on my phone. And I'm just like, that's crazy. That's crazy talk. And earlier you said it was like the professionals like you or Lumpy Potato. It's like, wow, that's some high praise, because normally I shoestring it together. If you saw like my stream setup, especially when I was playing on Sunday, it's like it's me sitting at my computer. My computer's open. My phone is plugged into, and it's a MacBook. It's a MacBook Air. And I've got my phone plugged into my MacBook Air, and you can use your Nintendo Switch Joy-Cons as controllers on your phone. So it's me sitting at my desk looking at my phone like this. and dude, I was really happy that I had the PNG tuber. Like I said, otherwise you'd just be seeing this or like nothing at all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that was kind of fun. I don't know if I'll play video games on stream again. I much rather prefer drawing or painting my minis, because my side hustle is doing the Dungeons and Dragons books, and I get a lot of work done when I stream, and like kind of like what you do, just invite people on. We're not necessarily talking about anything in particular, mostly because like you were saying, with everybody talks about the news, like, and I'm engrossed in it. I listen to like my local news, and then I'm on like a healthy diet of Dan Bongino and Crowder and Tim Pool and Russell Brand and a couple of other people that aren't politically affiliated or whatever.
Right.
And I try to get just the wide breadth of it all, like while I'm out wiring houses. But then when I get home, uh, man, like you were saying, the communities can be vipers.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like to comment about it because it's like an energy vampire. The more you
Yeah.
talk about it, the more you kind of like feed that beast.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's absolutely everywhere. And I've talked about that in my stream too, where it's like only in the Dungeons and Dragons community are you going to be called this for saying that. And I'm like, actually, that's not true. Oh yeah. Well, what do you know? And I'm like, well, I mean, it happens in the video gaming community. Well, yeah, we knew that. It happens in the knitting community. There's a knitting community. Well, yeah, you wouldn't know that because you're not a knitter or a quilter,
Yeah.
but my wife is. And guess what I hear about? I hear about like different designers that are like really prolific who
Mm-hmm.
have millions of downloads on like knitting patterns and stuff. And they have to deal with the same level of scrutiny and everyone trying to like crabs in a bucket on their way down.
Mm-hmm.
It hurt a little bit like this last round of Rumble creators, like some people that I really, really liked were upset that they didn't get picked. And I was upset because I wanted them to get picked.
Yeah.
But at the same time, on the same token, I'm like, I live a lot under the motto of like, I expect nothing, but I appreciate everything. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
And then also being like super quick to forgive, because it's like you were saying, it's like you invite that you start building this community and then you start really getting invested into some really cool people. But then, all these cool people really like you, but then they don't like each other every once in a while.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, one of the things I absolutely don't tolerate is when people are like, yeah, you're really cool, but that guy sucks. And if you want to keep hanging out with them and hang out with me, then you suck too. And I'm like, okay, well, guess what? Just by virtue of you talking like that, I don't want to hang out with you anymore. And I'm going to hang out with that person that you told me not to talk to you even more, because that person was very cool with, me hanging
Right.
out.
Right.
And so, yeah, I wish everyone the absolute best, and for the intestinal fortitude to
Yeah.
to get out of their own way sometimes, because it took me a little while to get there.
And that's why for me, my whole point is trying to stay humble out of it. So that's why I maybe not being humble, maybe not doing these is staying humble. But for me, it's like doing my pay it forward streams that I do on Fridays. That's a give back without expectation, right? Like I'm always surprised of how people follow me or come watch or whatever. And yeah, don't get me wrong, there's still some small nugget of me that looks at the numbers, that looks at whatever, but I have to remind myself is like, the 2-question thing that I always put up is like, what are you getting in the content creation for, and what do you expect out of it, right? Because if you're going in, my thing is, if you're going in for money or fame, you might as well just walk out the door, right? There's no way you're going to get it within a reasonable amount of time. It takes forever. Like for me, I have more people following me on Rumble than I do on YouTube. And of course, YouTube is this conglomerate of just giantness, right? It's billions of people's versus millions, right? But the thing of it is, though, is I still have grown to some degree to have like a small group of people follow me. Now, while the money part of it is great, this right here is the main goal of it, right? To talk to many different people, and sometimes they answer, sometimes they don't, and I still have to grind for that. I still have to grind to get people on, and of course, again, like how you talk to somebody, how you get to come on, what are the magic words you say or whatever, how you present yourself in your content, whatever. Like I'm pretty casual, like you are. I'm pretty casual. I'm not like super dressed. Although there are some times where I've tried to dress or whatever, but it's all those things where it's like, where do you improve? It's like I don't get very much feedback other than maybe at the end of a show where I ask the person, like I will later tonight, like, oh, how did it go or whatever, and usually all right. But yeah, that's me. That's the grind I try to keep up on, and that's what I'm trying to go for. Everything else beyond that point, the likes, the comments, the follows, the donations, whatever, all that's a bonus to the ultimate goal of, because there's compared millions to billions, right? If I just had 1 million of people, right, just 1 million of people to just talk to, I'd have content for the rest of my life.
Mm-hmm.
That's how amazing it could be. The issue of it is though is that um, not everyone responds back. Everyone can take a look and they say, "Oh, I'll get back to you." I never get back. I've had at least one person say they disliked me because I was on a show with somebody and I was saying stuff they didn't like or whatever. It's like, okay.
Dang.
But I told him, hey, you're welcome on the show. And he's like, oh, all right. But nothing came of it. So, but you never know. Like, right, you're right. You never know about it. But I'm not going to meet that with any sort of form of like, it kind of hits on the inside. But then after that, I'm like, why am I doing this? Am I doing it to appease them, appease me? Am I doing it to do something that I don't see many content creators do? Because how many people, content creators, right, when they have people on for podcasts, how many of them are either people below, people starting out, or whatever, and not big content creators, right? Not many. Many of them are stuck in their circle, right? Some of them are stuck in the circle, and there's an understanding because of trust. You don't want to bring troublemakers on. I don't want that either, but I'm willing to go high or low. But some people just keep going high up the ladder, which is also understandable, but it's limiting. It's very limiting. And for me, it's just like, I'm going for the whole field, baby. It's like pennies, right? You see many people will just walk past a penny or whatever or miss it. I can't tell you how many times I've seen a penny on the ground, either it's corroded a bit or whatever, but I pick it up because a penny saved is a penny earned, right?
Mm-hmm.
Benjamin Franklin. So that's how I compare it to, in a sense. I would like to talk to higher people. I tried to ask Lumpy to come on, but whatever. But I'm not going to be like just for one thing or another. I want to open the door for almost everyone. And still, it's a grind to get people on because it's just that thing, right? Like, I'm not here for clout. I'm not here to get clout. I'm here to network, obviously, because the more people I get on, the more I can connect, the more my credibility builds, the more I can go. I can keep, going farther and more people. It's just like this sort of like casting a net, fishing, and you hope that you're in the right spot and you can get a lot of fish. But that's just me. So you said you were in the creator program, right? The second round?
No, I would I have liked to, yes, but it's like you were saying, it's not really why I'm here. So earlier in the show, I think kind of towards the beginning, when you asked me about my service, you're talking about how people would say like why they got in. I definitely got in to serve the country because you face a lot of hardship. And I've seen a lot of people throw away their morals and stuff that they said that they wouldn't do when they got in, so that way they can get college or they can get VA health benefits or whatever. Right. I particularly don't care for those people. I can share you some stories as to like why am I proud of my service? Yes, but I would never, not for a really long time. I would never encourage people to serve these days. Right. But anyway, when I got into doing this, it was way less to do with content creation because I was going to be writing my books anyway, whether I was writing them just for me and my friends or, my kids or whatever. If you haven't seen them, I do like tabletop zines. So
nice.
They're kind of like Dungeons and Dragons or Warhammer. This one's a little bit more like Warhammer because it's a tabletop war game. You make yourself a merry band of mutants and you kill, maim, and destroy other mutants in order to get supplies for another day.
Yeah.
And then I do other stuff like this one is like, it's like a Dungeons and Dragons adventure. And this one is actually, it's a conglomerate of, it's basically South Park style parody of bunch of the South Park style parody of a bunch of the headlines that I read over the course of the last year, and it turned into like an adventure for Dungeons and Dragons. But there was a point when I was doing Dungeons and Dragons stuff for like me and my family, and people are like, well, you're kind of good at this. You should just put those out. I'm like, yeah, it could be a really good side hustle. I don't want to do it for a living. But then you see a lot of gatekeeping, and it's really funny because people like me always get accused of gatekeeping because what do you know? You're just a cis white hetero male, blah blah blah. Okay, yeah, whatever. You probably don't like women at your table. Like, actually, my wife is one of my favorite players, and she was playing. I was playing Magic with her. You know what I mean? Like, our entire relationship, and I was president of Dungeons Dragons Club. And if you saw my high school photo of Dungeons Dragons Club, you would know that that's not true. But go on with your bad self.
Right.
And so anyway, I was like, yeah, no, I don't really care for that, because what's going to happen is people are going to be, they're going to be vindictive. They're going to go out of their way to assassinate my character. And I certainly don't need any help doing that. I could do it myself.
Self-assessment.
But there was this feller, and he goes by the name of Avenger Satanus. And he writes a game called Crimson Dragon Slayer, which is super good. Right. But when Roe v. Wade came out, and there's this website called Drive-Thru RPG, and there was all of these creators that were doing these bundles for reproductive justice. You know what I mean? And what were they doing with the profits? Nothing. They were enriching themselves.
Right.
So Venger comes along, the rebellious punk rocker himself, and says, all right, well, if you guys want to do a bundle for reproductive justice, I want to do one. And he came out with this really small adventure. It's actually, it's more like an event that happens over the course of your normal game. And it was called The Good Samaritan. And in it, your band of players catches wind of a cult of demons that are like sacrificing babies.
Yeah.
And you have to like either stop them or ignore them. Right. And so, of course, you can choose to go stop them. Well, that wasn't good for anybody. Nobody liked that, apparently. And even though he's got a storefront on Drive-Thru RPG got enough complaints about his particular book, where they said, not only are you not allowed to sell that, but we're going to pull everything from your store off until you delete it. And that's like his livelihood. And I caught wind of this, and I'm like, wait a second. You're telling me that there's reasonable people that make really cool games about actual like heroism?
Yeah.
And it's, case in point, Tomb Raider, to go alongside with the remasters that they just released, they got a pretty prolific company to do a official Tomb Raider role-playing game.
Oh, wow.
And one of the creators, one of the writers for the game, in his bio, they're talking like, oh yeah, let's do a creator bio on all the people that helped write the game. In his creator bio, he's like, hi, my name is this. As you know, I'm an RPG creator. And like you can imagine with all RPG creators, I'm LGBTQ, AIP, whatever. And it's just like, whoa. Hold up. That's not true. These people that talk about gatekeeping, I bet you gatekeep the women and people of color. It's like, no, you guys gatekeep people all the time. So anyway, when I decided to start streaming, painting my miniatures, writing and drawing my books, it was much less about being an influencer or a content creator, so much as trying to be a good influence, because there's a lot of people out there that are, they're kind of like treading water in a vast ocean.
Yeah.
Thinking, man, I'm all just by myself. I don't know how much longer I could do this, but I've got no other choice. And then every once in a while you see like an island, or you see some other guy and he's like floating along on a raft, and you're like, hey, you want to ride? Yeah. Let me get on that thing. Sweet. There's room for two of us. Could you imagine? Titanic. Anyway, I think imagine all these people that are just kind of like treading water out in the middle of the blue, thinking, the ship got crazy. I jumped off the ship because I couldn't stay there. The ship was on fire and filled with people that were like murdering each other. Yeah. But now I'm just floating along, and I imagine that's kind of where I was metaphorically in that space. And it's like, if anything, I just want to achieve the fact where somebody can look in my direction and be like, oh, thank goodness, there's like safe harbor for as long as I can provide it. It is what it is.
Same here. Yeah. Before we continue on, so this is a thing I do pretty much for everyone who's on. But at the top, it's a little past it. But at the top of the hour, I set aside a time for promoting, right? Promoting our personal things. So I asked earlier for links in DM. So if you want to give those later, you can. So I can put them in the description.
Oh, okay.
But if you want, go ahead and kind of promote yourself first, and then I'll do mine after it. So it's just a thing I do. So
okay, yeah. So again, I'm Paddy's Parlor Games. You can find me at Paddy O Cakes on Twitter. It's capital PADDYOH capital CAKES. Yeah. I mean, you should be able to find me just with Paddy's Parlor Games. I write and I play games. I've got 2 more books on the way sometime this year. Actually, as soon as I get off this, I gotta send the first draft to my editor here soon. A lovely guy of Sonicus Maximus. The guy is just super cool. And then I sell my books at what I like to call like the Rumble of self-publishing sites. It's there's 2 of them. There's BigGeekEmporium.com and Giant Slayer Games. It's the same thing. Basically, when Drive-Thru RPG started kicking creators off, meanwhile letting other ones that blatantly break their terms of service free roam. These guys are like, they got that same Pavlovskian gumption in them and said, yeah, we're gonna do it better, but with blackjack and hookers. And so they did. And so now we have Big Geek Emporium and Giant Slayer Games, and my friends like Venger Satanis and the Basic Expert and Victor Gorchev and myself and others. Anyway, we publish there, and it's been a pretty good deal. I'd love for more eyeballs to go to those websites. So I keep trucking on, and then I'm on Rumble at Paddy's Parlor.
Nice.
I think
it's Paddy's Parlor Games. I think it is.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. I think my link is just like rumble.com/Paddy's Parlor, capitalized, and then /live. So that was really cool that I got that URL.
Yeah,
because it's so funny when I chat online and people are like, "Oh, what's up, Paddy's Parlor Games, yo!" And I'm just like, Paddy suffices. You could just say that.
Yes,
it's cool.
He's
PPG,
come from
little PP. Oh,
oh whoa,
PP's in the chat.
Whoa. Oh, that's not gonna be good.
I was gonna say, call me anything but late for stream. Wait,
no,
dang it, so close.
That's why you're here. No, for the late stream. No, anyway. I'm not gonna be able to get through this. So I am on. I stream on YouTube and Rumble under @Darmuth, and I have a fan account, and I'll explain shortly why I have a fan account. And that's at Vermouth on Twitter X. I also have a Discord, and I also have an email, which I'll name in a sec. So like with Paddy here, because again, I have to go and talk to people and say, would you like to come on and stuff? If you would like the same opportunity, you can DM me at Twitter X, DM me at Discord, or you can use my email at crazer6@protonmail.com, CRAZZER6@protonmail.com, and we can have a good time like we've been having here. I think I haven't stopped smiling for the past hour or so. So that shows you how much fun we're having. But the point of the matter is like, it doesn't matter if you're big. It doesn't matter if you're small. Actually, next Saturday, I'm going to have a father and daughter streamer who, from my last Pay It Forward stream, I had stopped by and I had donated. I usually just leave a like and donation because if I follow too many people, it clogs up the people I follow.
Yeah.
So I think not too long after I invited them on, and they're just sort of starting out. So it's like I have that opportunity here to bring on people who small, big, whatever. That's how I want to do it. I don't want to be like just big to just get up. There's a whole ocean, like Paddy just said. There's a whole ocean of people, and you can just canoe on by. It's like, would you like to come on? I was like, yeah, sure. Does everyone I ask come on? No, because unfortunately that's the part of the business. But I still will try. I still will keep going on, and of course, Paddy is always welcome back, as I've done for everyone else. So, yeah, you're a fun guy. Why not? I mean, not that kind of fun guy, but seriously.
No, I'm pretty sure there's some growth going on between my toes. I gotta take a shower. Speaking of which, thanks for having me on, man. I gotta check out. I just got a text from my neighbor saying that that's one of the things about being an electrician. You're always wanted. That's for sure.
No worries. That's why we usually ask if you want to continue or not, and obviously can't. So sometimes the stream goes for an hour, or it can go longer than that. It just depends. So anyway, thank you, Paddy, for being on. You are welcome on anytime. Well, anytime there's free, because next week I pretty much have from Monday to Saturday I'm pretty full. So
nice. Way to go, dude.
I know, but it's every week is a struggle just to get people on, because I'm still unknown, right? But I'm hoping more people come on, the less that will be. So anyway, thank you, Paddy. Once I get his links, I'll put them down in the description, and then you can click on them. But other than that, I hope to see you next time tomorrow. And I just got confirmation today. I have a gentleman by the name of Cool Frog. He will be on at 7 p.m. Tomorrow night, and we'll have a fun time there. So again, hope to see you guys tomorrow, and I appreciate all who come, and I hope to see you next time. Bye, guys. Oh,
bye, everybody.
Bye. Hey, bye.